briefings, just like the one that was held today in Benin, the capital of Edo State. Now, the federal government has also urged Nigerians to remain calm and not panic. Guests on Nigeria today will be sharing their thoughts with us on the update of which is the focus for coronavirus second case in Nigeria. Welcome. My name is Blessing Abu. I have guests joining me. One is here with me in Abuja studio, and we'll also be joined by the second guest in Ogun State. That's Abeokuta studio, that is via Skype. But let me welcome Dr. Isaac Eboja. He's a public health consultant and also an expert in this area. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good evening.
Okay, joining us via Skype, and that's, like I said, from Abeokuta studio. Let's welcome the Commissioner for Ogun State, that's Dr. Tomi Koka. Welcome to the program. Okay, well, we'll sort that out, to at least for effective communication. Let's begin here with Dr. Eboja. Good enough, last time we were together when we started talking about the coronavirus, the first case that we had then. Now, a second case has been confirmed. Implication of this is very grave, especially when we thought we're just going to be containing with that first case that we had and trying to mop up all areas. But now a second case has been confirmed.
Yeah.
What do we have on our hands?
Well, it goes to tell us that we are not okay yet, but we should not panic. We should not take anything for granted. We should make sure that we do whatever the health authorities are telling us to do, namely, and most importantly, washing of hands every time. You don't have to eat or go to the toilet before you wash your hands. If you are in a public place or you've been around and you come to the house or you go to any place where there is water, feel free to wash your hands and use sanitizers also. Aside from that, if you fall ill, if you are sneezing, you are coughing, you have a headache, you feel lousy, sore throat, any of those symptoms that could be coronavirus, please don't hide. Report yourself.
Okay. This is coming, of course, days, even though the first case was checked out with the first case. Now that's the index case with the Italian, some 2 days after he got into the country. And this one now is coming like 2, 3, okay, well, let's just say some days after, because 2 weeks after this indication. Now, this individual too will have met with several others and will have had contact with persons. What impact is this going to be for the population where it was where it was discovered, and also now having to be moved to the isolation place? But then the movement continues with whoever it is he has had contact with.
Yes. The good thing is that there have been very serious effort to trace whoever he had been in contact with. Very good effort, and it is yielding good result. If they hadn't done that, we wouldn't have had the result we have now. What it means too is that if you have come in contact with this person, and even this second person that is now reported, please report yourself. And if you need to isolate yourself. If you have any symptoms that will need attention, please don't hide. Let the authorities know. There have been dissemination of information, telephone lines that you can call, even if you are in your house, even if you are in a remote area, as long as you have a means of contacting health authorities or the nearest health facility, please do so. What it also means is that we have to be more careful, and we have to look around more carefully too. If there are some people, like I said earlier, who this man had come in contact with, or who this second case now has come in contact with, let those people also look at themselves, and let these people also help us to trace where they have been in the last 2 weeks in particular, especially this last case. I think his own case is very important because he may have unknowingly have been going around until now. So whoever his contacts are should be traced.
Okay, Dr. Boja, we'll put a pause to your own thoughts now as we rejoin Abeokuta, where we earlier introduced Dr. Tomi Koke, the Commissioner for Health, Ogun State Commissioner for Health. Dr. Koke, if you can hear me, which I believe you can, now let's get your own side of what Ogun State has been able to do so far in getting this this next case, which is also an index to the other person that was taken on into isolation in the first instance.
Good evening. As a point of correction from what the gentleman said earlier on, this second case is actually this second case is actually a contact of the previous case, the index case, and he has also been under quarantine since the last 12 days, and he has not had to. He has had very little contact with anyone else.
Okay, great to know that he has also been in isolation for that period of about 12 days, like you've already pointed out. But before he was taken in, what were the moves that the state government, or at least the health situation was like before it was taken in about 12 days now? Bring us to speed with what has been happening so far.
Thank you very much. As soon as the index case was identified and confirmed in Lagos, every single individual who the index case had contact with, and they were quarantined in a particular location, and we continue to monitor them on a daily basis. They've remained asymptomatic, and all their temperatures have been normal. And the result of this positive case is as a result of diligent surveillance, and there is no cause for alarm, and the people of Ogun State and Nigeria at large can be rest assured that the disease is contained.
Okay, Dr. Coker, still with you. Now, I know you've taken in some of the measures already. That is why you were able to hold on to this individual. Now, what other measures is the state government putting in to actually alert the public and also to impact the requisite knowledge for them to actually raise the alarm where there should be, or at least bring the state government to any form of alert on whatever it is that is happening in the environment? What are you putting in place?
The government of Ogun State has actually scaled up its risk communication team activities, which include disseminating information and education material through posters, jingles, engaging with the media, and also having a mobile app disseminating education to health workers across the state in the 20 local governments and every single ward.
Okay, Dr. Coker, we'll get back to you to find out some other areas of interest as Ogun State is trying to curb this issue of coronavirus as it concerns the citizens there. We'll get to you in the course of the discussion. Now, let's get to the street, because on cases like this, we'll always have the opportunity to actually to have what they know, or at least the more they know about this situation, what else can they do differently? Let's get to the streets.
If you have coronavirus, there are some symptoms you face, like normal fever,
So far, right now in Nigeria, we have 2 cases of it. From time to time, I wash my hands. I equally implore some of my colleagues in the office to wash their hands intermittently. If you are sneezing, you try as much as possible to use a white handkerchief, or you cover your nose. And even if somebody around you is sneezing, you stay some meters away from the person, just to make sure that you are not close to someone that is having coronavirus.
And majority of places where these diseases can easily be contacted are public places.
At all our border points, the entry points, the Nigerian government can as well beef up efforts to secure people, basically.
Well, the usual hygiene exercise, like washing your hands, using handkerchief, and when you want to cough, ensure that it does not split away.
I let people know, when you touch your body part, you don't put it in your mouth. When I see you sneeze and you don't try to protect me, I'll challenge you. Or you sneeze into your hands. Government needs to play a very, very vital role. Both states, local, and federal governments.
Views from the street, and we're still looking at the updates on the coronavirus in Nigeria. The second case has been confirmed, and presently the patient had been moved to Lagos State where we have the isolation center. I have Dr. Isaac Eboja here in the Abuja studio, and also the Commissioner for Health, Ogun State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Tomi Koka, is via Skype from Abeokuta. Okay, Dr. Eboja, before we get back to the Commissioner, she raised the fact that because we were already talking about the fact, okay, this person will have moved in the different ways, moving with other contacts as well. But good enough, the person had been isolated in the last 12 days. But then there are still some days gap between when the first index case was taken in and this same individual. And we wouldn't know how much of movements within, even if it's under 24 hours, is enough for the virus to actually take its own movements around. What should the people be doing, especially in collaboration with government activities and directive here, that is very key for us at this time?
First, let me say kudos to the people, to the authorities in Ogun State. They have done very well. If they hadn't quarantined some people and watched them, they wouldn't have discovered this case. So, let's congratulate them. Yeah. For the people who are in Ogun State and elsewhere, the message is still the same. We should cooperate with health authorities wherever we find ourselves, whether you are in Lagos, Abuja, Ogun, wherever you are. Listen to what the health authorities are saying and the messages that they are putting out. I think everybody is trying to do his or her best. And the more we cooperate, the better we will be, and the easier it will be for everybody to arrive at the point where we are going, where we want to be, curtailing and containing this epidemic.
Okay. All right. Let's get back to Dr. Tomi Koka. And for us, I know the efforts, like you already said here, we're congratulating the Ogun State government as well as other state governments that are putting on their own impact here and there. What more would you want to see from the people? Because I know this is not just the only case that you have isolated, perhaps. But you might need to tell us more from the different movements that you know about the first index case and how widespread that these individuals that have come in contact with. What other measures are you putting in place, and how much of the cooperation of the people are you getting?
I have to commend the contacts of the index case because they've been very cooperative. As soon as they were contacted, they all volunteered to be quarantined, and we've been able to. They volunteered themselves to be monitored, and what I would like from the people.
Go on, Dr.
Is that people are conscious of their personal hygiene wash their hands, as we said, with soap and water, actually, and also actually observe respiratory hygiene by coughing into their elbow. They also need to keep a social distance of about 2 centimeters from anyone who has any symptoms of fever or being unwell. We would also advise people to report early to a health facility or call a hotline to report any symptoms, coughing, difficulty breathing, and contact with anyone who has traveled to the high-risk countries that have been listed in the media so far.
Okay, what further risk do you think the state is in, considering this second case as confirmed from your state? What further risk do you see us confronting in the days to come by?
As mentioned earlier on, there's no further risk as this individual was confined from the very first day the index case was identified, and they have reported that they've lived alone and they had made no contact with anyone between the time they had contact with the index case and they were quarantined.
Okay, that's reassuring enough. I'm sure that will also allay the fears of the residents and, of course, the people of Ogun State there, which is commendable. Okay, let's get back to us here in Abuja. Already the NCDC is saying that they'll be testing suspected cases of contact with index in other states, as already pointed, because you can't stop people from moving. Nigerians are really mobile in their activities. So apart from Lagos State and Ogun State now, the need to actually beam a searchlight on the other states and what state government should be doing differently.
I think they have already been searching for any possible cases that could be hiding. One good thing that I think the health authorities in Nigeria have done is the fact that they have been on alert and they have been making sure that what needs to be done is being done. And more importantly, this tracing of cases or possible cases and quarantine people that could be carrying the virus is very important. And if they hadn't done that, we wouldn't have known this case now, for example. What I would say is that other states, whether or not there's anything connected with you, wherever you are in Nigeria, I think every state should be getting ready. In the event that there's a case in your state, you'll be able to act immediately. If Lagos State, for example, was not prepared, was not properly sensitized, they wouldn't have been able to declare the first case that we had. If Ogun State were sleeping, for example, we wouldn't have been able to get to where we are now. There's a possibility, we have 36 states, FCT being the 37th, there's a possibility that some states are still laying back. I'm not saying there are, but there's a possibility. Wherever you are in the country, when we have this kind of case, please be prepared, just in case, so that you're not taken unawares.
Okay. All right. A quick one as we run up on the program, but getting back to Abeokuta, Dr. Tommy Coker, yes, for some already there are indications that, okay, everything is moving on well, but then there are calls already also suggesting that schools and some other public places should not function. But I'm sure that is not what the Ogun State government is looking into. I'm sure you want to still have everything function properly. What are your game plan to actually checkmate public places for possible, we don't pray that it comes on like that, but then we should take the necessary precaution. So what are public places and other public, maybe schools, as well as public institutions? What are you going to be doing?
We encourage all public places like the schools to continue to run as normal. However, we have been to schools, authorities, and shared IEC materials, posters to educate and create awareness and sensitize people as to the symptoms and signs of COVID-19 infection. And also, we have encouraged people in practicing personal hygiene, respiratory hygiene. We've been to faith institutions, we've been to churches, we've been to CAN, we've been to the League of Imams to educate them on how to behave in congregational spaces to reduce the risk of transmission in these areas.
Okay, and still a quick one. The isolation centers, I know Lagos.
And to educate people on using disposable.
Okay, I was asking about some of the equipment that you have in maybe the center before they moved this particular case to Lagos. How equipped, and maybe you might need to tell us some of those ones you have so people can still have their fears allayed over where to go.
Across Ogun State, we do have an isolation center which is being operated that is located in OOUTH. And we've identified 2 different hospitals where we could surge into should the epidemic occur in Ogun State. The first facility has 80 beds and the second facility has 31 beds. So we are prepared if there should be an epidemic.
Dr. Tomi Koka, Honorable Commissioner for Health, Ogun State, thank you very much for joining us on Nigeria Today. We appreciate your time and insight. Okay, Dr. Isaac Egboja, yes, I know we've talked about this and we cannot but re-emphasize that the different symptoms still to present for people who, well, they'll be hearing COVID-19, coronavirus, what exactly, but then what are those things to actually still watch out for? That's a window to actually impact the public even this day again.
Okay, we have to continue to repeat those symptoms that could be a case of COVID-19. We've talked about sneezing, coughing, sore throat, chest pain, fever, the feeling of not feeling well, and so on. But I have also been trying to add the aspect of diet, nutrition. People should try to eat properly, stay hydrated. This is a hot season. We've been passing out the information that most of the people who have died from this epidemic have been older people and those who already have some chronic illnesses or those whose immunity have been suppressed. So one of the ways of boosting your immunity is to make sure that you eat well.
Yeah.
So you stay healthy. You look after yourself very well. You eat not just eba and pounded yam or rice. You eat vegetables and fruits and so on, things that will give you or boost your immunity. Not just because of this epidemic. Generally, that's what we should be doing anyway. But
to
now
stay alive and well.
To stay well.
Dr. Isaac Egboja, Public Health Expert, thank you very much for coming on the program. All right, thank you too for watching, and we also like to appreciate NTA Abeokuta, at least for facilitating that platform for Ogun State Commissioner to come on and discuss this with us on the program. Thank you very much. Also, you can watch this particular edition or any other edition of the program on our YouTube address, www.youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. My name is Blessing Abu. Enjoy the rest of the day.
that has a major outbreak, it's advised, if they have no symptoms at all, to self-isolate, meaning that they stay indoors in their homes for at least